What's going on, Van Dyer? Hope you're all doing well. I posted something on the page or our public page a few days ago. Put it in our or on my personal page also, and it kind of got a little bit of reaction. But I did not do talk about this on my live that I did on Sunday in the closed group. So I want to do it because I believe that I have a story to tell, kind of about my experiences when I got out of the military, and I want to share it with those of you that are in the closed group. Those that have been in the closed group a long time and have seen my previous lives, I've talked about this, I think, last year, in the middle of last year, but I haven't really done one on it recently. When I got out of the military, I got out of the military in February last year. I honestly thought that getting the job was going to be the easiest thing in the world because of my military experience. I thought that as soon as I got out, I was just going to be scooped up for a job, and I was going to have no issues at all. And I was kind of led to believe that last year that I was in. That I was going to be able to get a job. Well, I got out, I couldn't find a job at all. And I told a story about how I applied for Sam's Club. And a few months after I got out, because I just wanted any job at this point. So I applied for Sam's Club. I go into Sam's Club and I did it old 90s style. I don't know if those of you that are a little younger may not know what 90s style is, but those that are older surely will understand. When you go apply for a job in the 90s, you would go there, get in your Sunday's best. You would go apply in person with your resume. You were hoping that when you got in there, you could fill out your application right there on the spot. And a lot of times you could get a job that day if you were lucky enough to meet the hiring manager. When I went into Sam's Club, I immediately was stopped at the door by an employee. Couldn't go any further, and I was just told to apply for this job, you need to go apply online. Go apply online, and then we are hiring, so we'll get back to you soon after you apply online. Go apply online. So that's what I did. I applied online. I didn't hear anything back for 4 months after I applied online. Nothing back. Finally, 4 months later, they called me. By this time, I was already in school. I was drawing out the GI Bill. I was taking full load in school. And I was lucky enough to get a pension when I got out, so I was getting a monthly pension. So I was able to survive on that. So I turned the job down. But the fact that it took 4 months for a place like Sam's Club to call me back, it woke me up to the reality of what it's like in today's tech age and getting jobs. Especially when you're in those last 6 months to a year, how you transition out is going to set you up for success down the road. I told a story on the page about Sergeant Craig who's in this group. So I don't know if he'll see this, but I am going to talk about it. We were in Korea. He was in his last year in Korea. We were in Korea. And, I was a buck sergeant at the time. So you know what a buck sergeant is, an E5. He was an E6, staff sergeant. So he would in charge of maintenance stuff, and he used to need help with maintenance. And at that time, my back had gone out, so I wasn't very good at physical training at that time. So he would call me out to help him do paperwork and stuff. So we always go down and eat breakfast. We were in Yongsan in Seoul at the time. I don't know if those of you who've been stationed in South Korea know Yongsan. They're in the Army. And we'd go sit down there at the food court. Every civilian knew who he was. I would be having a conversation with him, and every 2 to 3 minutes, a civilian was coming up to him, interrupting our conversation, and then he would talk to him for 10 or 15 minutes. And this went on for hours. We were supposed to be doing some work, but he had us down there at the food court talking to civilians. And at this time, I had been in so long, too. I'd been in a while. And those that are in the military, and the longer you're in the military, you get so military-centric that you shut everybody else off. So a lot of people talk bad about Sergeant Craig because he would talk to civilians. And, of course, old-time military people are like, he's not doing his job if he's sitting there chatting with civilians. And I used to kind of look down on him a little bit. I was like, geez, he's talking to all these civilians. We're in the Army. We need to be doing Army stuff, talking Army to talk. Well, he got discharged. His wife's South Korean. So he ended up getting discharged that year. He got discharged on a Tuesday. Thanks, Craig. Hope you're doing well. Appreciate it. He got discharged on a Tuesday. And on that Monday, he had a job, a GS job in South Korea with a South Korean wife. It only took him 5 days from the time he got discharged to he had a job. Because all the civilians that he talked to liked him. They liked who he was. They liked him as a person. So they made sure he had a job when he got out of the military. And it only took him 5 days to get a job. Because he was socializing, he was networking with those civilians. And I used to think that is the craziest thing to do because I'd been in, by that time, 10 plus years, sitting there chatting with civilians. It's not something I'm going to do. I'm a military man. That's what we talk military. But because he did that, he landed a job. So when I got out, I was like, I wish I would have done that. I wish I would have been socializing more civilians. I wish I would have been socializing with veterans that are already out, because I could have gotten a job a lot easier. I did finally get a job, but I had to go networking. It took me a while. But all that time I was in the military, I was not networking that last year. And the longer you're in the military, the harder it is to network because you're so focused on your military life that you forget that when you get out, that military life isn't there anymore, and you need to network. To Sergeant Craig, I emailed Sergeant Craig a few days ago talking about, if there's ever any jobs available in Korea, let me know. Because he's now gotten a couple promotions to that GS job. He's now making big bucks. And not only that, he's working for the unit that he was at where the people were talking crap about. He's working for that unit as a civilian now. So that last year you're in, this is for those that are still in. That last year that you were in, 50% of your focus should be starting to shift towards the civilian world. And if people are talking bad about you, those sergeants that have been in so long and they're going to retire out and they're saying, you should be more focused still on the military. You're still in, you still signed a contract. I mean, that is true. And they do say those comments, I'm sure some of you have heard that before. You've been in for a certain amount of time and they say, well, you signed your contract. You need to be focused on your job right now. You're not out of the military yet. I don't know how many, I know I heard that. I don't know how many times those last couple of years I've been. But yeah, you can be focused on your job, but you also got to realize those sergeants won't be there when you get out. They're not going to be there. They're not going to support you. They're not going to pay you money. So networking and building relationships with people out of uniform is essential. And Sergeant Craig understood that. He didn't tell me at the time, but he understood that I'm getting out. These people may be talking about me because I'm socialized with all these civilians, but I'm getting out of the military. They're not going to be around. Now he's making big bucks working in the S3. So, sorry, it's an Army term, but that's the training wing of the unit. Working as a civilian in their S3 right now, making big bucks. At the unit that we were at the time, that where a lot of people were talking some negative stuff about it. So networking that last year, and don't worry about what everybody else is saying about you. That's what I didn't learn. I didn't do that, and when I got out, it took me over a year until I got employed. Over a year until I got employed. Anyway, that's all I got. I'll be all over the place in November, networking. I'll be up in New York here a week from Monday, or just coming up Monday. So if you're going to be at the Vets in Wall Street, I'll be there. Stop and talk. We can just sit and chat and have a cup of coffee. I will be there, and I'm going to be at a bunch of other events. Recruit Military in Norfolk on Thursday. Recruit Military is in Washington, D.C. the following Thursday. I'm still working also, and I still got my wife's applying for jobs. I got a job interview coming up. Somebody else wants to hire me now. So a lot of stuff going on. But this is a lot for the transitioning soldiers, what I just said. That last year, talk to civilians, talk to people out of uniform, and start building those relationships now. So when you get out, you can be on terminal leave and getting full pay from another job for a few months, which is what Sergeant Craig did. He had like 90 days of terminal leave, and he went straight into a job and double tap. And that's the way to do it. So hope you all have a great night, and I'll do a live Sunday before New York, and I might do another one up in New York also, and I'll relay whatever information I learn in New York, whatever good stuff I learn, I always relay to you all in the group. So I'll be doing that. And last thing too, do lives. If you got some interesting stuff you need to put out, do you think veterans would help veterans or still on active duty, feel free to do a live. I don't have to be the only one that does them. I would love for other faces to be doing lives in here also, putting out information to some of our younger veterans and those that are still on active duty. Because I know there's hundreds of people in this group that are still on active duty. Because I know them personally, and I know some of my friends of mine know them personally. So they could really use this information. I didn't see a group like this when I was in. So that's one of the reasons why I created it. Relay information to some of these younger people. Have a great day all. Bye-bye.